Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Giants fans. How are we doing? Welcome to our latest show. As you've probably noticed, it's not our usual Wednesday drop. We thought we'd switch things up a bit for the good of the podcast, just to see how things go. We've got a lot to talk about. But first of all, it's the main man, Mr. Frost. How you doing, pal?
Absolutely fantastic, mate. Good to be here. How are you, pal?
I'm amazing, mate. Amazing. I'm just I've got actually sore wrist from writing all our notes down for this one because we know it's going to be a juicy one. So it's going to be a good one, mate. So from the top, let's start cast our minds back to Friday with the Sheffield loss. It was a 80. Let me get it up. I'm prepared. It was an 81-80 loss for the Giants. Standout players for the Sheffield Sharks: Nichols, Lillard, and Helmsley, which we knew, and Cock or Cooch, however you want to pronounce it on our podcast, with 16 points, all in double figures. Feelings towards it, mate? How we feeling?
Well, first of all, I'll touch on. I think it's actually Cook now. I think Joe told us, didn't he? I think it's Cook. I'll touch on him because obviously me and you again was talking, throughout, throughout the game. And when he came on, that's when they, if I remember rightly, that's when they pushed that 10-point lead out.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that's what seems to be killing us at the moment when teams are going up by 10. And then we're coming back either way, but it's just that little bit too much to catch up. And David Ulf, bless him, he's had a fantastic few games, and he really is our bloody Rodman, really, isn't he? He is Rodman. Just the unfortunate thing for him is just sometimes these guys, sometimes a little bit too big for him, I mean, personally, obviously we're going to go into our new signing, but if he's on that court, I'd go as far as saying win by 10, maybe.
Yeah.
Not just with his points, because he is an outstanding player, but just purely because of the fact that it gives us a different dynamic. It gives us a totally different dynamic. And I was looking, and in the last, what was the stat again? Was it 18 games? Out of the last 18 games, 16 of them we've been missing a big man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So that I think in both games, especially, in both games, especially the Sheffield game, it was a big miss, a big man, because we can drag down the rebounds and stuff, but it's the putbacks. Yeah. It's these little things. You saw it against Bristol. How many second chance points did Bristol get against us? Do you know what I mean?
Well, just to clarify for the listeners, that stat 16 out of 18 without a big man. That's including Ulf being out, Brady being out, and using Hexham as a backup centre as well. Obviously, before their departure. As well. Yeah. So we're talking, we had 2 games in the past 18 with Brady or Ulf on the pitch.
Yeah. And the thing is, especially at the moment, because again, I go into how good the talent is in the BBL at the moment, and there's some fantastic big men. Fantastic. You got to look at Leicester. Newcastle have always got a good big man, especially in Defoe. The vet. Mike Tuck. I know he wasn't absolutely lit it up against us, but he just does the little things right.
And 7 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist.
Yeah, and but you know what? The thing is, Mike Tuck didn't score a point, I think, against us until the third quarter, was it? And it was that big 3 hit. And that was a real killer, because we was just clawing back a little bit. I think we got it back to 7 points, and it's a 3, and all of a sudden it's 10 points. Do you know what I mean? And and that's the thing. That's what we're missing. And I know Jeremy Poor. I've got one of my good friends, Ash, is really, really good friends with him, if not one of his best friends, and talks about him in massive sort of high regard. So I kind of know what we're going to get, and I'm just excited to see that. Well, I'm excited for the fans to know what we're going to get. You know what I mean? But just to kind of draw a line under sort of this weekend's games for me, I do think that big man, was a big, especially against Bristol. The big man was a big miss. I think sometimes there was, slightly questionable rotations, but obviously, coaches' hands can be sort of tired at some point. I think at one point, we had Jack and Zach on at the court at the same time, and it's just one of these things. Obviously, with the recent news, I don't want to speak down on anybody, but it's just for me, like I said, for me personally, I think a big man changes it for us, and maybe just because obviously DJ stepped up massively in both games, but just maybe one or two other people, stepping up a little bit for us. You know what I mean?
I think obviously we'll move on to DJ later on because we've got a bit to speak about him. Yeah, I mean
I
again,
forgot to mention Whelan shooting, what was it, 50% in the Bristol game?
Yeah.
How many points did he get? 29, was it?
He got 29 in the Bristol game and 15 in the Sharks game.
I mean, just concentrating on the Bristol game there. I mean, he shot a lot of shots. I know a lot of Whelan shots are high percentage shots, but you've still got to put the ball in the basket. It doesn't matter whether it's a layup or a 3-pointer. You've still got to put the ball in the basket. And to score
from 13 from
away,
2, 5, 11 from 3.
Yeah. So that's really fantastic. But yeah.
I mean, I think, honestly, and, we like being honest on this podcast, there was a bit of back and forth with Whelan from the fans. Now, I say this in the utmost respect to Whelan. Yeah, he scored a lot of points, and me and you said it during the game. It was great to see him score so many points, but I felt like he was trying to put the team on his back a bit too much.
I definitely understand what you mean. I 100% understand what you mean. And I feel that it's easy to do that because you've got to look at the teams and stuff he's played for. He's been the top man at most teams he's played for, and growing up, at Magic and everything, he was the top boy, you know what I mean? And it's easy to fall into that role. Yeah. And like I said, shooting 50%, mate, you've only got to look at some of the best players in history, Jordan and Kobe and stuff like that. They shot a lot of shots.
Yeah,
they shot a lot of shots, and a lot of the time they put shots at where you think, what are you doing? And the fortunate thing for Whelan is that his shots were going in, and I totally get. You say maybe he's trying too hard to put the team on his back.
He also kept us in it.
Yeah, and there was no one else really. I mean, DJ defensively, and he was getting a few tip-ins and stuff. But apart from that, there was no one else really stepping. Satch had a really quiet game against Bristol. I mean, don't get me wrong, they scouted him and they did a really, really good scouting report on him, and they had a really good defender on him.
Yeah.
But and it doesn't matter, how talented you are. If you're good at defense, you can stop anybody. Do you know what I mean?
I think we come back to like you say, Whelan 29, DJ had 30, Cassell had 18, Satchel 9, Ulf 8. We had 5 points from the bench. Now, this is a consistency thing through the season for me personally, where obviously we do have a strong starting five, and we'll come on to our preference starting five later on in the show. But you've got to be hitting more than 5 points from the bench, because
that's massive.
You look up and down the league, and you see most teams have basically 2 starting fives.
Yeah, they do.
And I know we've got a lot of academy players, and I totally get that, and it is hard to do with the team we've got at the moment to have 2 starting fives, but we really need to step up from the bench, man.
Yeah, we do, and I understand. Obviously, Alex's missus is, she's not far from dropping now, so his head's not going to be all there. But it slightly questions, should he be there if if his head's not in it? Because we've seen, and the unfortunate thing for Alex is he set such a high standard for himself. He really has. Because when he gets, I mean, we've seen him tear teams apart. Cheshire predominantly, we've seen him. He loves that derby game against Cheshire, and I just think because at the start it was sort of customary for him to get between 8 to 15 points.
Yeah.
you know, because he knew his role. He knew he wasn't going to be a starter, and he could be a starter, but he knew he wasn't going to be a consistent starter. Do you know what I mean? He knew it wasn't going to be constant starting every week, especially with the emergence of Whelan. But on the flip side of that, it's like you said, 5 points from the bench. You know, if Alex chips in with that, you know, between 8 and 15, we win both games.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
That's to be honest. You know, we can't expect, you know, kids, because at the end of the day, I mean, we don't know what, obviously, you know, Coach Pluto is going to be taking over this weekend. You know, excuse me, we don't know what his sort of stance on playing the kids more is. But we have to kind of disregard them because they're there for experience and things. You know, they're there, you know, for that. But if we disregarding them, you know, we're looking at, you know, Zach probably, you know, can get, you know, he usually gets about between 4 to 10 points a game, or he can do. You know, he usually averages out about 6. You know, Jack Hudson, again, I feel we still can see more from him. You know, Jack Hudson's effort is never not there.
Yeah.
That's one thing I will say. You can never doubt him for his effort. Sometimes his shots just don't go down. I'm actually enjoying the fact that he's shooting a little bit more.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, I think we spoke about this in the previous show where people step off him, and he wasn't.
That's what I mean. He was winding me up. But you know, to give a guy who can shoot a 3-pointer, you know, and a guard, and you know, you see the modern day point guard now is able to shoot threes. You know, you look back in the day, you know, not a lot of point. I mean, you know, point guards wasn't predominantly shooters. It was always pass first. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? You know, they wasn't shooters. You know, some of the bloody worst 3-point shooters in history have been bloody point guards. You know what I mean? Like you know, it's one of them. But the game's evolving. You know, big men are shooting now. You know, and it was really annoying me the fact that guys was stepping off him and he still wasn't shooting. Not that Jack was annoying me. It was the fact that they was being so blasé about it. You know. Yeah. And I just think even if the bench just contributed 6 points each, we're getting through these games.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're getting through these games. And I understand, you know, with the bench has been a little bit weakened with players leaving and etc. You know, because obviously if we go back to when Breon and Lyle was there, Ulf, who's contributing, you know, easily between 8, well, he could be 8, he could be 28 with Ulf, do you know what I mean? But he's always going to give you about 10 points, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, Ulf was coming off the bench, contributing there. Do you know, other players, you know, DJ was sort of in and out of the starting lineup. You know, Whelan wasn't starting. You know, he was doing his thing. He was getting nearly 30 points off the bench. So that's the thing. I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there when you say we need the bench to step up more.
I think obviously with our bench at the moment, I'm going to go out on a strong statement when I say this. We've got the starting 5, and we've got tops with recent and historical games. We've got 3 bench players, and that's not taking anything away from Ty or Joe Hayes. But you've got Hudson, Awande, stroke Whelan, depending on your starting, and Zach Powell. Yeah. Whereas you bring in Aaron Jonapo. Then you go, right, who's getting replaced there? Does Ulf go back to a bench and come back on as a backup big man? Like, depending on how it goes in training, that's where we start to manipulate the game a bit more, and we have room to give people more minutes, and we have room to get those results that we've been obviously needing.
And let's not forget, mate, you know, we've got Franklin on the bench. The guy finished 5th in the Den Camp. He finished 5th in the Den Camp. I was speaking to him. You know, I played PlayStation with him. I was speaking to him, and he finished 5th in the Den Camp. Places behind Cameron Hildreth, who's going to play for Wake Forest.
Yeah,
these things we can't forget. You know, he can contribute. He's 6'6", 18 years old.
And he's also the coolest looking player in the BBL. In the BBL.
Yeah. You know, and if you look at averages, 18, 19. So he's got 3 years left of growing left in him. People say you stop growing when you're 21.
Yeah.
Got 3 left to go in. The way he's going, he's probably going to end up about
6'8".
6'8", 6'8", I reckon. Maybe 6'8". He might push 6'9", depends if he hits another spurt. You know, that's you know, I think, put a little bit of respect on his name. He's going to get some minutes, and we'll see things. I know we got baptised against Leicester.
we won't play that clip again, don't worry.
yeah, just stop it and then show that and then get me back on again. So these bench players can do things, and we saw Ty come on against Plymouth, and he had a shaky start, but he just fit right in. He just fit right in. So for me, I mean, this would nicely bring us on to what we think our starting five should be.
Yep.
I think.
Okay. Yeah, let's go for it.
And I think it's a nice, natural thing. Now, for me personally, love David Hull on here, but I think he's better coming off the bench. Now it sounds people should be like, well, hang on a minute, why? He's been getting these numbers, he's been getting that numbers. Why? Because when you're 7 minutes into the first quarter and everybody's, like sort of drifted, in and out, and people are sort of getting a little bit tired, etc. David Hull comes in like a battering ram, and that's the last thing you want to see.
Yeah.
An energetic big jumping high over you, getting rebounds, tipping in. So that I'm just explaining that before anyone sort of jumps on it.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So for me personally, in no certain order, got to be starting big man Jamie Poor. Have to start Jamie Poor. I don't think he's a natural power forward, but Satch for me in there. Off pure form at the moment. DJ playing 3.
Yeah.
I think I've spoke to other fans of other teams, and people are saying he's probably one of the best defensive players in the league. He's probably one of the best. He's an old school small forward.
Yeah.
He's an old school small forward.
Yep.
Nitty gritty. You know what I mean? He's Manchester Giants James Milner. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I personally go Whelan at 2.
Yep.
Cassell in there, and that's your
ideal starting.
5. Yeah, that's my 5, and that brings some really, really strong players off the bench as well.
Yeah.
Because the thing is with Whelan, we've seen Whelan's been bringing the ball up every now and again.
Yeah.
So
Satch, we noticed in the past 2 games as well. Obviously, when the team has started to defend Cassell off the ball in the inbound, you've seen Satch bringing it up.
Yeah, because he's got that speed. You know what I mean? So
with Aaron at big,
yeah,
Satch
4, 3, Donny DJ, 2 Whelan, 1 Sam, and that really, and then. Like I said, it brings strong people off the bench. That then,
just look at the bench there. You've got Hudson, you've got Ty, you've got Franklin, you've got Ulf,
Hayes,
you've got Powell, you've got Hayes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of energy coming off that bench. And we got Owandi as well.
Of course.
So there's a lot of energy coming off the bench there. And a lot of players. A few of them could, because like I said at one point, Owandi was sneaking into my starting 5.
Yeah.
So.
Do you know what, mate? I wouldn't even argue with that. I'm not even going to attempt to argue with that because I think you're bang on.
Yeah.
I think that'd be my starting. But obviously, this is without seeing Jean-Paul play yet or train or anything. But
he's just an out-and-out big man. He can step out. He's got that mid-range.
Yeah.
He's
got that presence. He's got that size. He's got the build. He's got the rebounds.
Yeah. I mean, you don't go to Asia Basket, and I think did he win MVP or he was well up there anyway.
Yeah.
With Iran, and he played at San Lorenzo. He's been everywhere, been there, done that. We're very privileged, and probably only because of the virus got him.
Yeah.
Over here. So
welcome back to Manchester, mate.
Yeah, he's gonna be huge, and I just think he's gonna release Satch. I think Satch is gonna go off, and the fans listening to this will be out before the Newcastle game. You heard it here first. If all being well and he plays, he will release Satch. He will release Justin Satchel. Because Justin Satchel's games had to change slightly because he's having to step in and get rebounds and stuff. when you've got a natural 7-foot athlete in there, you won't need any rebounds.
Oh,
you know.
totally, man. But
Yeah,
depending on sorry, what, mate?
No, I was just going to say, and you're going to see because what's Newcastle's big man called again? Blonde hair. I keep forgetting his name.
I could know what you mean. He's got like mid-length blonde hair.
Yeah. And I think he's quite easy to bully. I think as a big man, I think he's playing off pure height at the moment.
Yeah.
But when he's matched up against someone, I've seen Jimbo Lull have an absolutely fantastic game against him. NBA played well against him. Do you know what I mean? So for me, you're going to see a good turnaround on Sunday for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Sunday is the game to look out for, obviously, with hopefully a new coach. I don't know. I think, well, going back to, we'll move on to that bit later with the news of Danny and that. But, we've got Aaron coming in against Newcastle. We've got, and then we've got 7 days break until we play London. Then, so it gives us time to kind of like recuperate, recover, regardless, and try and get that dynamic back together. Whether it's a coaching standpoint or new players coming in and everything, I think it's quite a nice little gap for us to sort shit out. Basically,
it's a welcomed gap. It's definitely a welcomed.
Yeah, and it's going to be very welcomed. You're totally right, mate. It's going to be a time to, like I said, recuperate, energize, tactically, everything about that. It's just going to, hopefully, fingers crossed, just fly from here.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of brings us nicely to talking about the whole coach situation. Yep. Now, when I say that, I mean, what I'm saying is, I think Jamie and the staff have they got rid of Coach Danny on Monday, so the team could have that full week with Pluto. It was a natural sort of thing, or I'm assuming it was a natural thing to do because at the end of the day, either way, it's gonna affect the team. Yeah. So you need to pick your times, and they've picked it now. But yeah, it kind of brings us nicely onto the whole big announcement and everything, doesn't it?
I mean, for me, I know obviously most of the fans either know or don't know. We used to talk to coach and probably still do talk to coach on a regular basis. We are impartial in many ways to what we talk about and what kind of information we relay back to each other. But and this is taking out our business and our platform on here, from a fan's perspective, when we see it as, if you take out the basketball, when we see it as a business, and yes, Jamie is an ex-player. Yes, Jamie is an lover of the game. He's played GB, he's played Manchester. He, at the end of the day, first and foremost, is a businessman. And if this business isn't as going to his plan, if his business isn't going the way he wants it to, he's looking out for his business. Now, with that being said, there's been a lot of socials we'll get on socials and that, but there's been a lot of talk of, is it the right time? I think a lot of people have different views, and you've just said it yourself there, mate. Tactically, we've got that week to get used to the training regime with Pluto or another coach, but then we've got one game and another respite of a week. I think how do I say this? It is a situation where it can look good for Jamie both ways. Now, when I say that, I mean, if we make the playoffs, it's a good decision for him. If we don't make the playoffs, it's also a good decision because he can go, well, obviously it wasn't working. Now, I've got a lot of respect for Jamie. Obviously, I talked to him and have done since the whole rebrand. But I think from putting basketball back into it and using my fan head rather than anything else, I hope this brings wins. Now, I want to sit there in 14 games time and go, do you know what? You made the right decision. Again, nothing against Danny Byrne. You made the right decision. We've made some wins. We've got to win the playoffs. We're making a playoff run. We know that the silverware isn't going to come this season. We knew that straight away. We know that we've got big aspirations to be the biggest club in the Northwest, to get all of the ethos of the brand that Jay wants to bring in. We know we can do that, but it's going to take time. Nothing happens overnight. Obviously, we don't hear much of what goes on behind closed doors. There might have been some animosity between players and staff. We don't know that. But what we do know is that we want to see us win silverware. We want to see us make a trophy run. We want to see us get into the playoffs every single season. From my perspective, since 2012, we've not finished above ninth. And I'll say this every single day until we finish above ninth. We've not finished above ninth place since the Giants came back to the BBL. Now, that speaks volumes for the fan base that we've got to stick with us for all this time, even seeing that losing record. But if we make eighth and make a playoff run, we're sound. We got unfortunate in the 2018 season. We got knocked out of the last game. But I want to see us now go, there's the line. If you're still with us as fans, you're with us. If you're not, you're not. And I think it sounds harsh, but it is as simple as that. It's like, right, this is our line. We go up from here or we go down from here. Are you with us? Yes. Me? Of course I'm in. I always buy in.
Yeah.
So that's my kind of stance on it, mate. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, you hit the nail on the head in saying a few things. One, it is a results business. You know, it is. You see it all the time. Now, I've only spoke to Jamie once or twice. I spoke to Danny quite a lot, but I've only known Danny from this podcast doing this, so I don't know either of them as people. I can't judge that. And at the end of the day, I do agree. I mean, Danny's hands are kind of been tied behind his back with the people out, people injured, you know. And unfortunately, when you've not got that roster of 12 solid BBL players, you can't rotate it as much. Because what you see with teams, I mean, I'll use Cheshire as an example. If there's players out, I mean, Cheshire have got a lot of. You look across Cheshire's, squad. There's no. Am I right in saying? I think he's got one kid in there. Yeah. But then when someone gets injured, they bring Matt Rangeley in, who's got BBL experience and a load of NBL D1 experience. If someone else gets injured, they'll bring Josh Horton in. And these are players who can compete in the BBL. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if worse comes to worse to them, they'll just bring a kid in. But the thing is with us, we've already got them kids in the team. They're our rotation. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I mean, personally, it was for me. I didn't. It was a really strange one. I felt gutted for Danny because he's been here for years. And like you said, as fans, we can't look into the politics of things too much. We look at when are we playing, who's in the team, etc. We look at the basic stuff, and us as obviously podcast journalists, we look into it a little bit more, but not too much because we still are, by the fans, for the fans. And I just think, I think when you said, there's only one thing I slightly disagreed with what you said so at the end of the day, because there's no fans in here, the only thing that's making money realistically for the Giants is the BBL money, subscriptions, everything like that. And if we make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because there's no fans coming in there. Unfortunately, it's an underfunded sport in the UK. Excuse me. So there's no fans in there. So this decision has been made by Jamie. And it's basically, he's seen this, what is it? We're 1 win in 8, yeah? Mm-hmm. He's seen this, and he can already, what we're halfway through the season now, and he's seeing this as, if we don't book this up, we're going to be basement boys, rock bottom, and it's not for us to look into the politics of why players left or anything like that. He's seen this as that. And when you're a businessman and your manager isn't performing, either words have to be said or anything like that. We don't know if words have been said. We don't know anything about that. We just know that when we woke up at 9 o'clock on Monday morning, we saw that. You know what I mean? So the one thing I slightly disagree with what you said is it's not a win-win for Jamie. Because as you saw on socials, Danny had a lot of fans behind him. He had a lot of that, and sometimes I found it with some decisions that he made. So I found it hard to think, well, why has he done that? I thought that a lot. We spoke a lot. There's been some questionable rotations and players maybe sitting for too long and stuff like that. We don't know what's going on the bench or anything like that, so True. We can't comment on that. But just from a fan perspective, as you would if a fantastic footballer was sat on the bench, you know what I mean? You'd say the same. But if we don't make the playoffs, this could look really bad on Jamie.
Yeah.
But without playing sort of devil's advocate and sitting on the fence, is it because he's now building for next season? That's something that we don't know. Do you know what I mean? This new coach has got the thankless job now where he's coming into somebody else's team. We see it in football and we see it in basketball and rugby. People come into different teams and they either do amazing or don't. Do you know what I mean? It only goes two ways. It really does. I'm hoping, obviously, luckily Pluto was there and he's been under the players this season. I'm hoping it goes well. I really am. Obviously, as a Giants fan, as a human being, I hope it goes well. Obviously, I wish Danny and I won't, lose touch with Danny and stuff. I wish him all the best for the future. Don't know what he's got planned. Don't know, anything like that. But something had to change. It did. Because it was down in the dumps. And yeah, we had, the sign of Jamie Poole coming in and stuff like that. But we don't know whether it'd have been amazing under Danny or not. Something had to change.
Yeah.
Whether it was getting players in or whatever, something had to change. I'm not necessarily saying it was a new manager or what, but something had to change because, I go on about, paying this £20 a month, to watch the BBL player, and we complain about the scoreboard being out and we complain about that. But at the end of the day,
commentary being ahead.
Commentary being ahead. Yeah, commentary being ahead and commentary not being amazing. But, at the end of the day, we're still putting our money in to the club.
Yeah.
Us as podcasters are still spending our time, doing something for the fans. We're not getting paid for it. Do you know what I mean? Still doing some fans. So it's just wanting to see sort of a bit of reciprocation, on that. And something did have to change. And if Jamie, as the owner, thinks that the coach change was the right thing to do, then we just, as fans, have to kind of get behind it. We can't look too much into politics because it's not us. I don't know either of them properly as a person. You know what I mean? But I do feel bad for Danny, and I do hope he does well. But my first and foremost thing is I hope Giants do well, and that's it. That's it. You know what I mean?
I think regardless of the string of games we've got, regardless who we're playing, even the past 4 or 5 games, it's been 1, 2 possession losses. Whether it's been 1 point or 5 points, it's been 2 possession losses. So it's not as if we're getting, me and you have been to games where we're getting dicked by Newcastle by 25 points, or we go play Leicester and we get beat by 15 points. This is a completely new squad, and
it is.
Now this isn't a dig at any fans. When you look at it this season logistically, the only reason, now I say this with heavy heart, because the only reason we have this squad this season is unfortunately because of COVID. A lot of players, have, at an educated guess, have took pay cuts. We've got them on a very tight budget. Any other year, I don't think personally as not a big market in the BBL, we would have been able to get, Justin Satchel, Sam Cassell Jr., Lyle Hexon, Breon Brady. I just don't see it happening. And now, quote me if I'm wrong, any listeners,
That's also not the league's fault, though. That's what you got to remember.
Exactly.
It's the fact that it's a massively underfunded sport.
Yeah.
Look at Spain. Their second sport, basketball.
Yep.
One in 3 people in Spain are a huge basketball fan or something like that. You look at Germany. They've got no other sports.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They've got football, basketball.
Yeah.
They don't play cricket. They don't play rugby.
Imagine the Germans playing cricket.
yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look at Turkey. What's the other sport?
Turkey.
Apart from
football? Israel, Greece, all of these European countries are huge on that. I think wasn't it Lithuania's like the most high percentage played sport in the country?
Serbia, more people play basketball, I think, in Serbia than football.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely mental. Russia, again, they might have little local sports as well, but basketball's, again, probably the second or third sport there.
Yeah.
And that's why it's funded. You only have to look at the Euro League games and the European games and FIBA,
the standard.
Eurobasket games.
Yeah.
The standard is unreal. I would go as far as saying, your teams like Barcelona, Real Madrid could go into the NBA and win quite a few games.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the players they've got, are fringing NBA players. We're seeing a massive European influence on the NBA at the moment. And say Luka Doncic, was at Real Madrid as a kid. Obviously he was standout, but they can compete. And that's the thing. It's not the fact. I'm totally behind what you say, Jake. We've only got a lot of this talent because of that. You see Justin Satchel, his league got suspended in November, and then the whole travel restrictions and stuff came in. The BBL have took a massive jump this season and thought, we're going to have to step up here, and it for me personally, it's brought a massive thing because it's no coincidence that Sky Sports are on board.
Correct.
It's no coincidence.
Yeah.
It's no coincidence because they've seen, the BBL have said to Sky Sports, watch this season.
Yeah.
You're seeing established BBL players, people who've been in the league and a constant, I use the example, players like, Drew Lasker and, Gino, players
Dirk
like
Williams,
Dirk Williams, who are constant stalwarts. Gino's still the best player at Leicester in my eyes. But what I'm saying is people are competing with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People are competing with him. Worcester going to Leicester, and probably should have won. And then Leicester going to Worcester and Worcester winning. No one saw that coming. We're not saying Worcester haven't got a good side. Worcester have got a good side. But what I'm saying is this is happening. This is the league. And Worcester have just signed another fantastic player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's happening. It's happening when you're seeing seasoned professionals. When they said Sam Cassell Jr. signing for Manchester Giants, Lyle Hexer, who used to play in the NBA Summer League.
Rubbing your eyes like...
yeah. Brilliant. I mean, don't be wrong. I've loved Giants recruitment recently. I thought last season we could have got it absolutely bang on. We don't obviously know what happened with Mulmore, but he was, point guard for Georgetown Hoyas, stuff like, So the recruitment this season for all teams is there to be seen. The BBL have took a massive risk in making this happen. They followed all the rules, don't get me wrong, but the BBL have took a massive risk because, like I said, most leagues have just gone, we'll just suspend it till it dies down a lot. What you got to think is these guys have got to feed the families. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think we've pushed so much higher as a league this season regarding obstacles with the pandemic and things like that. But when we say we want to see this league flourish like the European leagues, like pretty much everyone else under FIBA, basically, we are like you say, we're the most underfunded league, we're the most unfollowed league, if you can say it in that terms. But I was listening to the BBL show. Shout out Lasker and Maria, how you doing? I was listening to their show, and they came up. They said they'd seen a statistic that the coaches and training staff from the BBL, the percentage of those people that have gone over to the NBA and are still there, obviously, like your Nick Nurse, your Phil Handys, is it Steve Butner that's just gone to the Timberwolves?
Yeah, the Timberwolves, yeah.
Like, but all of the assistant coaches, all of the trainers, all of the help, all the strength and conditioning coaches that have come from the BBL over to the NBA is a very, very high percentage. Now, that brings me on to the standard of players. We've got a fantastic standard of players this season. We always have done, but we've got across the board, Giants included, obviously, we have a fantastic league this season. As we've said in the past, and as many fans know that follow British basketball, it's sometimes used as a stepping stone to run over to Europe or to go and play.
It's a gateway. It's a gateway.
Which I hate, but I love. Do you know?
Yeah. Mike, you bang on. Mike, you can use the example of Mike McCall there. Had he was quiet in some games, but it was a pretty standout season at Giants. Opened up the door to go to
XG League as well.
Yeah, XG League. It opened up the door for him. This is what happens. Look at what's he called?
Edu Arcas.
Edu Arcas. Yeah, Gettys. It opens up that door, and it's weird. It's like the BBL for so many years since the 90s probably has just been that journeyman boxer, who probably hasn't won a fight for a
puts
few
people
years.
Up to title fights. Yeah.
It was kind of like that. But this season, it's a case of, well, no, we're not. I go as far as saying, you could pick 2 standout players from every team in the BBL, and they play and they do really well in any against any team in Europe. They really would. We attracted seasoned NBA players, Byron Mullins. You know what I mean? Think things like that. Kevin Ware. Fantastic players. And for us to get a guy who played for probably, if not one of the best teams in South America, Justin Satchel. That's it. It's just to sort of end the sort of half around half sort of well done BBL thing. Is it needs to be funded more. And the only way it's going to grow is by being funded more. It's very, very, very rare you walk into a park in England and not see someone throwing either a football or a basketball into a basketball hoop.
Yeah.
It's very rare. With the kids team I run, we've had hundreds of responses trying to people. We've got people who we've had to say no to. Because kids want to play. Kids want to play. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? So it's something that I know we've had the little bit of funding, which has helped massively, but it's something that needs addressing, and that's that. And it needs to stop being, because, like you said, we've had Dennis Rodman came playing for Brighton Bears.
Yeah.
We had teams who did well in Europe in the 90s. I know that Britain in the 90s was very much sort of Americanized. It was a massive sort of.
But we also had the funding from the NBA there as well.
Yeah, exactly. So there's things like that. What was it? The Sheffield played against who was it? They had that McDonald's League.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, years ago where they played in NBA teams. So it was just like, and Americans were thinking, well, if we can't make it in America, we'll make it in England, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was. England was Europe at that point for a while.
I think it's a nice two-way street as well, because us as British basketball fans go, Americans go, I'll make it in England, and we're going, yeah, please do make it in England. We want to see you play.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, that's going on to the fans. You need to be do or die. We need to fill that venue. There's more. What does it hold? 3,000, doesn't it? It holds
2,000, I think.
Was it 2,000?
Well, it's 2,000 bleachers. Never. If we're allowed standing seating around the bleachers, then obviously you're pushing 2.5.
Yeah. So they, what you got to think to yourself is that not everyone's a massive sort of professional basketball fan, but like playing basketball. But you're telling me there's not 2,000 people in this in this big city who don't follow Giants results.
Yeah.
Tell me that. Giants have got what? Was it 6,000 fans on Facebook?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like tell me. So there's no reason for it to not. you know, and it's something we need as fans to get behind, you know, massively. And as soon as we can get in there, get yourself in there and make yourself heard and make that place a fortress. And not just Giants fans, make every place a fortress.
Yeah,
up
and down this league. Yeah.
We saw it. Glasgow is a fortress when it gets going.
God, yeah. It's an awful away game if you've ever been there.
Yeah. Look at Leicester, enclosed, proper fans within meters of you.
Yeah.
Newcastle, the same. You know, I mean, I can't really judge Newcastle support and Leicester support because it's fantastic. But, you know, up and down the country, you know, fill it and just put this thing out. So the league leaders, or the people who are in charge of the league say, look at this, Parliament. Look what we're doing. Look at this. We're getting more fans than what championship teams, like League One, League Two teams are getting in.
Yeah.
Why are they getting that? We get that, and that's what it is.
Yeah,
and that's what it is, and it's coming. It's coming.
I've
never seen social media go off about British basketball as much as it has this season. Never.
No, not at all.
I've never seen. You know, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for lockdown.
No,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be, and that's not me saying we're going to stop it after lockdown because we're definitely not. but
sorry for the fans out there that want us to stop. Don't worry, we're still here.
But yeah. No, that's...
Well, I think that moves us nicely on to a bit more of a rant, but more of a controlled rant as well. We'll play Eagles on Sunday, mate.
Yeah.
Now, as we know, they are a tough team. I think they're sitting third at the moment, third or fourth. We know they've always been a tough team. We know that we're always going... Oh, the second, my apologies. We know that we're always going to be a tough team to play. Who we're looking out for? What do you reckon the matchups are going to be? And who is going to be your standout player for us?
So I think there's two. They're going to look at
Evan Maxwell, by the way. I've just remembered his name.
Yeah, that's it, Maxwell. Yeah. So you mean you've just looked it on there?
Yeah, remembered, looked, same thing, mate.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I think Jeremy Poole is a much more established big man than him. He's a much better big man than him. Don't want to, I'm touching wood here. I don't want to, jinx it. But pound for pound, he's a bigger and better player than him.
Yeah.
So that should be an issue. But I think one thing they're going to massively try and exploit is the speed. I think they're going to play.
Fletcher gets up and down that court. Huge speed.
And they're going to. I personally think they'll play Edwards and Fletcher at the same time.
Yeah.
Cortez Edwards. I think they'll play them at the same time and just exploit that speed.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we need to be massively wary of.
Justin
I think
Gordon
we're going to
be
Yeah, Gordon. Yeah, I think we're going to be a bigger team than them. I think personally, for me personally, we need to play bully ball on Sunday.
Absolutely.
And I think as soon as we start bringing that on, they'll bring Defoe in. Which I think could be a fantastic matchup, Satch and Defoe.
Oh, Satch and Defoe would be great.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Defoe, the vet, he's not going to give you 40 minutes anymore, probably won't give you 20. But, he knows that D up, and he knows that. I just think it'd be a great matchup, but I think
he's also the toughest and most polite defender I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, I think Jeremy Poole will have Maxwell. I think it'll be good because I'm not saying Jeremy Poole is going to pull rebounds over Maxwell's head.
Yeah,
they're both going to score. I just think it stops that. And like I said, with David Ulf coming off the bench, I think our second big men are better than theirs. DJ is going to be huge. Yeah, DJ is going to be huge again. We're seeing he's slotting straight. He's going to be a mismatch on Sunday for me personally.
Yeah,
he's slotting straight into that three, and he's scoring 3-pointers more.
He's now playing in position.
yeah, exactly, and he will be. Yeah, and you're gonna see that. You're gonna see that. So, without sounding too confident, I think now with that balance back there, I think everyone playing and everyone fit, I think we can take them. It's going to be a close game, but being the positive guy I am, I think we can take them.
Absolutely. And it is at home as well, so we're on our home court.
Yeah.
it's going to be a big advantage for us. Obviously, we've talked about it before. You know, we know the rims, we know the court, we know what's going on, we know every inch of that court.
Yeah. The big advantage for the big thing we need to cut out is if they do go ahead, limit it. Don't get up to 10 points.
Yeah,
that's what's killing us. You know, we're not looking back and saying we should have hit them free throws. You know, we're not looking back at saying that anymore. What we're saying is we shouldn't have let them go up by 10.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
If we cut that out, if we cut that little sort of lull in the battle out, then I've no doubt, you know, we can compete against them because they've been beaten. You know, Sheffield went there and absolutely demolished them.
Oh God, yeah.
You know what? You know, they demolished them. You know, so. You know, and we probably maybe could have beat Sheffield. You know, so.
I mean, I'm excited. Like you said, I'm excited for those matchups. I'm excited to see Aaron step out on the court for us.
Yeah.
And I just want to see us with a new mindset. You know, I think obviously I know we've always had, you know, when we've talked to players, when we've talked to coaching staff and that, we've always had the mindset of next man up, 10 tones down, next game, let's go. We know we can win it. We need to keep that up and just turn it up to 11.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100%. You know, we've been playing in a very low gear recently, you know, and stepping up bits and bats. You saw at the end the other day with Sam getting them couple of 3-pointers, you know. We just need that in the middle of the game now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, rather than letting it get too low and letting the clock run down. You know, I don't want to get.
I can't remember who it was. I think in the fourth quarter there's about 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter of the Bristol game, and they hit a 3, and I turned around to the missus and went, "That's a game changer," and she went, "Why?" There's like 3 minutes left. I was like, atmospheric wise, that is a game changer.
Yeah, it's demoralising. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's demoralising. You're right. You're 100%. You're right. We need to match them and then turn it up to the next level up.
Yeah.
And because I think we've got the talent to match them now.
Absolutely.
And I think, you know, there's no doubt it's going to be a tough game, but we will be right there with it. You know, we're not going to let them run away with it like they did last time.
No.
You know. And yeah, it's a bit interesting. It's a new start. You know, whether the new, my personal opinion, I don't think the new coach will be in for this game. I think
it's going to be next week.
Yeah, they'll have an idea who they want, but I think it's going to be right. Let Pluto do his thing. Probably a lot of the things he'll do are the same ones as what he did when Danny was there, and then restart. Whether it's Pluto going to be manager, bringing his own things in, we don't know. But it's going to be interesting, and they're going to want to try and sort of strike us while we're down a little bit. They're going to try and take advantage of the situation. You know, you know, maybe they think of the fans. You know, there's a bit of unrest between the fans. There's not. You know, we like we said, we're gutted about Danny going, but we're also optimistic for the future. We just want the results. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But I mean.
Go on then, while we're here.
I think a win.
Yeah. Dub, while we're here then, predictions.
I've already thought about this, actually. And I can just
he's come prepared.
Yeah, I've already thought about it. I'm going 86-80 to us.
Okay.
Yeah, I know I always sit on the fence around the 80s, but I just think we seem to be playing teams that are just out-and-out scorers. You know what I mean? Like, apart from Bristol, who decided they wanted to play like the Lakers.
Bristol, who never score over 70 and then decided to drop 81 on us.
Yeah. The Bristol Lakers, or as our mates call them, the Bristol Friars. But yeah, you know, I always think we've got enough to score, and Newcastle are scorers, so
yeah.
I think it's going to be
exactly like you said. We're just matching them, turning it up.
Yeah,
match them, play for play, turn it up to that point where, again, just it's not dropping down by double digits. As soon as you get to that 10-point down, that's where it gets a struggle, especially against like your Leicesters, your Newcastles, your Londons, because they're going to close you out. If you keep it within 2 to 6 the entire game, whether we're up 2 to 6 or down 2 to 6, we have every single chance to win this game. Every single chance.
Of course, mate. Yeah.
So we move on to players.
Whoa! You've not given your prediction.
I know you've not done your player prediction, mate.
Oh, player prediction. Oh, right.
Hang on.
Right.
Just one.
Yeah. What? Right. Oh, what's that? Signal's going. Right. I'm gonna go. Jeremy 15 and 10.
Ooh, straight out the gate.
I'm telling you, he's a good player. 15 and 10, Jeremy Paul.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Satch over 25 points.
Nice.
Love it. I'm gonna go Sam Cassell over 15 and Whelan over 15.
Oof.
I'm not going to predict rebounds because for the first time, I think since Rob Bell, we've got a 7-footer. So I'm not gonna sit on the fence with any rebounds. I'm not gonna, because I've just got a feeling Jeremy Paul's gonna come in and he's gonna be like, "That's mine."
Thank you. I'll take that.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna predict any rebounds. I'm just gonna do points and then but with Jeremy Paul with a double.
Okay. I am gonna match you in the 80s, but I'm gonna go 89, 87. And I don't want to wish it to be a close game. I know I don't, but I really don't want it to be a close game because my heart at the moment. I checked my blood pressure this weekend, well Monday after the Friday and Sunday game, and it was ridiculous. It's through the roof, mate. So.
Is that a Sam Cassell fadeaway jumper for the win? Is it?
Don't say it.
For the win.
I can just picture it, just hitting it and just leaving his hand there, like, yeah. 89, 87 is mine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Our man Satch.
Yeah.
5 or more threes.
Like it.
Okay. I'm going to go DJ for an easy double-double.
Yeah.
I
forgot about DJ.
He's a walking mismatch in this game.
Yeah.
DJ double-double. And just because we spoke about it at the start of the game, with Aaron coming in, with obviously bench movements, meaning Ulf's on the bench, an educated guess, I'm going to go for bench points.
Yeah.
More than
I was thinking, yeah. And I was thinking Ulf 8 and 8, maybe. You know, I was thinking Ulf was going to do an 8 because I reckon he'll play similar minutes to when we said about, you know, playing 17 minutes or so. I reckon he'll feel, because obviously, you know, I know obviously Aaron will have been training and keeping fit, but I just think, you know, to get used to the team, you know, Ulf's probably going to play half the game, maybe slightly less. Yeah. So I'm thinking he might, you know, 8 for 8, 10 for 10 kind of game maybe for Ulf, but I didn't want to predict it, if you know what I mean.
I mean, those 20 plus, they could all come from Ulf. They could come from Oande, they could come from Jack, they could come from Zach, you know, they can come from Franklin, anyone off that bench. They could we need that double digits off the bench because that's exactly what Newcastle are going to give us. You know, they're going to give us 12, 15 off the bench with ease.
Maybe more, yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's where our matching them play for play comes in.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So that's our predictions done and dusted. Look, obviously we've looked ahead to the game. We've spoke about the situation with coaches. We spoke about the games. Anything else you want to add before we go into our little interlude at the end?
No, I think we've entertained everyone. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if you've stuck around to this point, you know what you've got to do. You've got to give us a like and a share because if you can endure it, so can everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give my shout outs at the end, but you know, that's it from me, mate.
So we'll drop it there. This is our main bit of the show. Thank you very much for listening. If you cut off here, please don't. We've got something in about 30 seconds coming into you. Cheers for your time as always, mate, and we'll move on to the next section. Cheers, pal. Oh, we come into our post-show bit where we do our shout-outs, our little mentions. But first, it's our WingVille Win of the Week, sponsored, have a guess, by WingVille. Our WingVille Win of the Week this week, and we do promise that we will get it on socials next week. We've been very busy this week. Our WingVille Win of the Week is the BBL Buzz, stroke Buzz 16 Productions, stroke Martin Boutneck for being mic'd up in their win against the Leicester Riders.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3, together. Hey, fellas! If there's a screen, we gotta help. There's no way stopping that. Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Ball! That's me. He wasn't in yet! I threw it to him! It hasn't been out of bounds yet, so that's why I threw it in, but we good. Next play. Coach, the problem is coming from he drags the big out, so we can't help for that long. Yeah. Good pass, B! Yes, sir, B, good pass! No! He's flopping, ref! He's pushing the whole offense, and then when the screen comes, he's doing this. That's why you're getting a call.
Saw his legs so far away from his body, that's an offensive foul.
Shout out to BBL Buzz. When they first came on board to the BBL, I was tweeting them non-stop from my personal account, being like, this is what we need. I was sharing it to everyone, even if they didn't like basketball. I was like, this is what the BBL needed, that step up in game, micing up the players and coaches. Did you also hear the BBL Buzz mic up the Scottish referee? That was a fantastic one, just a little insight. Yeah. But that's our WingVille Win of the Week. Make sure you go and check them out. We'll drop the links down here, and keep up the amazing work, BBL Buzz, because, I know we annoy the hell out of you by tweeting you all the time and retweeting you, but thank you very much for your support as well from you guys. Shout outs, mate. Yeah. I just want to drop a little thing in there. We are 5, as of checking right now, we are 5 followers away from 300 on Instagram. So if you listen to this right, it's ridiculous, mate. It's ridiculous.
I mean, to put that in perspective, we've got over 1,000 on all socials, but because obviously people say all things Giant, just having Giants fans. I mean, if you look, we used to get, only a few hundred into the sort of George Carnell. That's the whole of that centre following us, Yeah. So it's massive for us, and we are humble, and we do this more, for ourselves as much as we do for you, because we just enjoy it and we love it. So definitely, just from me, a little thank you, and just keep following and sharing it. And maybe, just maybe, there could be something in it for you when we hit 300.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
So make sure you go over to our Instagram. It's going to be on screen. It's going to be in the links. Go and give us a follow. Get us to 300, and we will be ever, ever grateful. On that note, make sure you follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Go and subscribe. Go and like all of our videos. Go and give us a hell of a load of notifications so our phones blow up. That'll be amazing. On to the shout-outs. I think first off, just from our platform's sake, shout-out and best luck to the future for Coach Johnny Byrne. We do wish you all the best in the future, mate. And we thank you for the conversations we've had with each other and just keeping our support, and we hope that continues. So thank you very much, Coach Byrne. Shout out to the Giants. They've been interacting with us as always on socials, getting us retweets, getting us likes, just getting us up there and out onto their platform as well. So You know,
PlayStation.
Shout out to Satchel Franklin playing Fortnite with Jordan.
Yeah, man. Eventful. I never thought PlayStation would be a platform for us, but it is.
And we'll drop our PSN names for Jordan and my Xbox name down below. Add us, we'll play some 2K together. We'll get some Fortnite and Call of Duty squads going when we're not recording. And again, thank you very much for Seb for our artwork. We shout him out every single week, and we're still not going to stop shouting him out because, you know, he's incredibly busy at the moment and he keeps sorting us out every single week. This show, we are proud to announce again, we're sponsored by WingVille. If you haven't go and checked WingVille out, please go and check them out. If you're in the 3 to 5 mile radius of WingVille, Cheetham Mill Road, go and get on Just Eat, UberEats, Deliveroo, whatever. Go to the shop, phone them up, quote the word WingVille, see what they can do for you. I'm sure they'll sort you out. It's Sunday coming up, you know, we've got the Wings on order.
Is it WingSquad? WingSquad.
Hashtag
WingSquad.
Yeah, quote
As you go into WingVille. As you go into WingVille, WingVille.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Make sure you go into the shop and quote WingSquad, not WingVille. Oh, man. You can tell it's been a long one, guys. We're going a bit silly now. It's been a long show to record this. Yeah, anything else you want to say to everyone else, man?
No, just again, you know, thank you to everybody, you know, for everything. We appreciate, you know, we've been only ever so slightly quieter on socials, and that is purely just because we've been, obviously, we're planning it month by month, and we've been always looking at ways of improving ourselves, and we said every month we'll have a little review, and we just, you know, decided to get it all in one show. You know, we realise how important the pre-game and post-game shows are. We appreciate you haven't always got time to just listen to them separately. So with us fitting it all in one show, you could just go out on that long hour-long walk and just get it all in there. Again, if there's anything people want us to put in there, any questions, any any suggestions, we are an open book. That is from, you know, because we always ask, you know, Jamie, we asked Coach Danny, we asked the players, you know, we asked everybody, and we still continue to ask everybody what they think we can do and ways to improve it. So if you've got anything for us, hit us up. Yeah. You know, anything absolutely fantastic. Any, you know, from a business perspective or anything, we're just continuing to try to do it, and it is for you. And we feel like it's good content and it's good context, and we've had that said to us without blowing our own trumpet by, you know, highly rated podcasters and highly rated podcasters, and, you know, we've had it even from the BBL show, shouted us out a few times, you know. So, you know, a massive thank you to everybody who's just helping us grow. And again, it's surreal. It's beyond what we thought. So just thank you to everybody, not just the players, not just the staff, but the fans as well.
We will still be doing interviews in the future. They just won't be as regular. It's very hard to pin down players with training and games. It's hard to pin.
And we're going to run out.
Yeah. You know, it's hard to get around everyone with both of us working and obviously the players being so busy themselves. So they will still be coming. They'll just be a bit more of a special episode rather than plunging them all out at you at the same time. One last shout out before I forget, because she will kill me if I don't mention it. If you have not seen this display behind me, this is
display.
This is a shout out to Wendy Nichols, one and only the mother that gave birth to me. Surprised me with this as a little backdrop to drop on, and shout out to Petal Bloom for making it. As you can see, it goes my eyes very well, so thank you very much, guys. It is much appreciated. With that said, thank you very much for listening. If you've made it to this point, tell you what, if you've made it to this point, comment on our YouTube video or send us a little DM or tag us in a picture with the words, I was here for the entire show. if you say those exact words, we'll sort something special out for you. That'll show us the people who are really listening to us every single word. So I was here for the entire show. DM us that, comment that on our YouTube video, and we'll sort something special out for you. Other than that, thank you very much for listening or watching wherever you are. It's been amazing. Take it easy. Take care of yourself. Trust the process. Thank you very much, guys.